What's going on, guys? Jetxc here, and over the past week I've been collecting quite a bit of some Brown Dust 2 news, and it's piled up enough for me to make a video. So we have two things that we're going to be talking about, but first things first, before I get into it, I have to add this because I didn't want to make this a whole section in the video. Origami basically confirmed in an interview, or not in an interview, excuse me, in a live stream that he did, talking about they're basically preparing for a South Korean convention to show off Brown Dust 2. At the end of it, he said he's going all out yet again for this second anniversary. So the last time he went all out was 1.5 and like a few other times, I think with Ventana. So expect greatness with this second Annie. So that's just to add to that. But we have two things we're going over. One, there was a whole live stream with a JP ambassador for Brown Dust 2 named Game Boku, and he took questions from the JP side and developers answered. We have questions about a Wilhelmina outfit, which was basically confirmed, Colleen as well, so we'll be getting into that, and a few other nice little questions that I will highlight. Also, we have an interview by Automaton. This is a JP website, and I went through it, and I just want to highlight one section because it's basically confirmed that there was some tension between the IP holders and the dev team when it came to making sexy cutscenes. So 100% confirmed, and we're gonna quickly talk about Goblin Slayer too. But yeah, let's get into the JP live stream where they ask the questions, because I want to get right into that, because I want to just there's a few things that are pretty interesting, right? So let's start with that first. Now, whole live stream was basically this guy going over stuff for new players. He did some polls, he talked about the Goblin Slayer collab, and then towards the end there were some questions that fans could have asked and the devs responded. So one of the first questions, this is from one of the users here. So they ask, I'm a gentleman who started playing because of Wilhelmina's backside. I think many people began playing because of her. So I was wondering, are there any plans to release a new costume for her soon? Looking forward to your response. And the devs officially responded and said, we can confirm that it will definitely be released within this year. While we can't share details, please look forward to it. So they also confirmed Colleen too, but we kind of already knew that. So what I want to say here is that this year we should get Colleen, a new costume for Wilhelmina, a new Zenith costume that was confirmed in another video I did like 2 weeks ago, and there is a good chance that we get Sonya this year as well as Darian. So within this year, there's at least 3 100% confirmed costumes and 2 that for the most part should come this year, if not early next, but they should come this year, which is Sonya and Darian. So a lot of good stuff to look forward to, guys. Hopefully we get that sooner than later. But let's keep on moving. So I have another one I wanted to go over here, and this one is actually about age restriction for Brown Dust 2. Let's talk about it. So this guy asked, I love Elise's interaction so much that I can't think about anything else lately. Are there any plans for an age-restricted version of Brown Dust 2 with deeper interactions? The devs respond, for Brown Dust 2's certain content, our goal is to push expressions to the absolute limits allowed by both app stores. We're constantly exploring various methods to maximize what we could show within the platform guidelines. How far can we go? Even we're testing the boundaries of what's possible. So, unfortunately, can't do like a 18 plus, put it on Steam and do some crazy shit, but they're not stopping, right? And they've kind of talked about this in the past. If something does happen in the App Store, they're well aware of our alternatives. So really no big deal here. But yeah, that is interesting. Good to see that they're not putting brakes on anything. They're just keeping on going with the lewd content, right? Now, another question I want to highlight from them is, this is a good one. So currently, when new characters are added, they are basically all 5-star. Are there any plans to add a 3-star or 4-star character in the future? I'm a bit concerned because the Scout 3-star allies and Scout 4-star allies achievements seem to have been neglected for a while, And this other person asked for 3 and 4-star animations. And then they also asked, also, could there be a case where existing 4 stars or 3 stars are promoted given a new 5-star costume? So the devs officially respond here and they say, we apologize, but there are currently no plans to add new 3 or 4-star characters. However, as with in little translation issue, but it's Sacred Justia, there is a possibility of adding or promoting new 5-star characters. As the service progresses and development resources become available, we would like to add 3-star and 4-star characters as well. However, even some 5-star characters still lack in skill animation, so we are doing our best to allocate efficiency. The issue with the 3-star scout and 4-star companion scout achievements were caused by maintaining the original launch standards. We are adjusting them to fit the current state of the game and considering the removal of achievements that are too difficult to obtain. So, pretty interesting. I think that's fine, honestly. Let me know what you guys think of the addition of 3 and 4-star characters. I don't think it's the biggest deal, but I don't know. I could be wrong. Let me know what you guys think, though. Now, I kind of want to get into an interesting one here. Here's another question. So, for those of you that are always wondering how Brown Dust 2 is able to stay afloat and why it is so easy for you to get free tickets and gems, here's a question from one of the players. And it reads... Okay, so here it reads, the other day, I did 200 pulls on Wilhelmina's gacha, but before I knew it, I had stockpiled another 300 pulls worth of diamonds and gacha tickets compared to other mobile games. The amount of diamonds and gacha tickets they gave out is ridiculously high. Is this service actually making a profit? And funny question, because I know a lot of people have thought that, and the devs did answer, and their response was, fortunately, we're generating enough revenue to sustain the game service. Our current business model focuses not on pressuring players to spend, but on fostering genuine enjoyment to encourage voluntary support, which I actually really do appreciate. And in my past videos, I have talked about this, and honestly, it seems to be working for them. That's why we're not even really pressured or charged to even, you know, get the cutscenes that we get from Brown Dust 2. I completely thought they would charge us money for the interaction scenes, but they didn't, man, and it's crazy. But the fostering of genuine enjoyment to encourage voluntary support, I think that's something that even I have done myself. So I've helped them out just out of sheer, like, I love this game so much, I don't mind spending money. And then they continue and they say, we'll continue working hard to make this game a game that you'll want to play long term and naturally feel motivated to support, which I think is awesome. It's very hard for me to even think about quitting Brown Dust 2, to be honest, and I think that sentiment goes for a lot of people. But yeah, pretty interesting. And then I think that's pretty much about it. There was one question. There was a female player asking for, and I quote, hot daddies. But they said, no plans for male characters, basically. So, yeah, pretty interesting there. And yeah, that's really about it. A lot of it was just, you know, questions for the devs and stuff about what they like and what's their favorite body part. One person talked about feet and toes. That was interesting. But yeah, guys, so let's get into this article, guys. So again, this is by Automaton, and hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. This basically is going over the entire collab and how it fits in with the theme of Brown Dust 2, and they just talk about it in general. So the first question that I want to highlight is, why was Goblin Slayer chosen as the collaboration partner this time? It seems like an unexpected match in terms of tone and IP. Actually, and this is the response from the devs, or from the interviewer's question, right? So this is their response, the devs. Actually, among Brown Dust 2 players, there had long been opinions that Goblin Slayer would be a good fit for the game. In fact, when we conducted a survey among our users about which IP they'd like to see in a collaboration, Goblin Slayer frequently ranked high on this list. While Brown Dust 2 features cute, SD, super deformed characters, the overall story and world of the game are grounded in a dark medieval fantasy setting. In that sense, the worldview of Goblin Slayer and Brown Dust 2 share a lot in common, which is true, and we believe that a collaboration would be enjoyable for our players. Also, we happen to have fans of Goblin Slayer on our development team, which honestly was a very important factor in making this collaboration happen. So, all in all, it was in the surveys, and the devs know and love Goblin Slayer. So I could see, I mean, it makes sense. When I do a survey, I typically list off like 10 anime, 15 anime, and I put Goblin Slayer in there at least a couple times, right? So interesting, but let's continue. So they also go on to talk about, two things that I want to highlight, and then we'll probably be good. But they ask another question. I'm also curious about the collaboration characters. Does Brown Dust 2 maintain its trademark of full-chested appeal in this collaboration as well? And he's basically talking about like female characters, right? And then the response was, haha, of course. When it comes to Brown Dust 2, the impact of skill animation is essential, right? That said, what we'd really like players to take note of this time is, for the first time in about a year and a half, since December of 2023, we're introducing a male playable character. Up to now, based on our surveys and reactions, we've held off on implementing male characters, but in this case, we strongly felt that the protagonist Goblin Slayer needed to appear as a playable character, so we made it happen. So essentially, which I could see where they were going with this. The Goblin Slayer team itself was formed by the Goblin Slayer, right? So they were like, we gotta have him in here as a playable character. So, you know, this kind of is different from what they said in the live stream, but I mean, we all knew that they were completely complicit in doing it, which is fine. Again, they already said that people didn't complain. I even get it myself, but they've, you know, basically said after that they're not going to do it again, right? Now it continues. Up to now, based on our surveys, or excuse me, that was not it. Here we go. Goblin Slayer won't be available through the gacha system. Instead, players can obtain him by completing the event. We hope you'll welcome him into your party. As for skill cutscenes, we really struggled to balance coolness with sexiness. We thought deeply about how to portray each character's combat style and personality, and how to visually represent memorable moments from the original work. In the skill animations, it took a lot of trial and error. So this is where we get to the part about the IP holders. So listen to this. The interviewer asks, I can really feel your passion for both sexiness and coolness. Were there any parts where you were worried you might be pushing things too far and get in trouble with the rights holders? Or did you actually get scolded? Yes, we were definitely worried about that. And to be honest, there was a bit of tension between both sides during the collab process. And then they say in parentheses that the person laughed. The people in charge of supervising from the rights holder side was incredibly patient with our persistent desire to include sexy elements, and we're deeply grateful for that. What they said resonated with us as well, and above all, we felt that respect and love for the characters had to come first. That became our top priority as we prepared everything. Rather than focusing solely on how sexy we could make the characters, we concentrated on showing their inherent charm, strength, and beauty in a natural way. As a result, we believe we were able to successfully portray each Goblin Slayer character in a way that feels true to both Goblin Slayer universe and the world of Brown Dust 2. So there it is, folks. We have confirmations. It was the IP holders that basically held them back, right? And it seems like they went through multiple iterations to the point where there was tension, right? So you can imagine having to go back and forth with the rights owners and being like, hey, is this okay? Okay, we'll go back. Hey, is this okay? That is what I'm assuming is what happened, but they said that the rights holders were respectful and patient. So they tried their best, guys, and I honestly think the whole thing with Shara was like their kind of way to say, hey, look, here's something lewd that happens, because the cutscenes themselves really didn't amount to anything. So there you have it, guys. Now, I think in the future, they have to find a way to like, hey, if you guys can't do this, we're gonna have to like let this go, because honestly, I could see the backlash that they're probably gonna get already for it, but this is just nice to know that it wasn't directly their fault per se. But I'm sure in the future this is a learning lesson for them, that if they're just pushing back way too much, it's probably going to be best to work with somebody else, right? So before they sign the dotted line to work together, they got to kind of square that stuff away. So that's really it from me, guys. Pretty exciting stuff. We have the Annie to look forward to, but yeah, hopefully that whole thing was pretty informative for you guys. So let me know your entire thoughts of anything and everything in the comment sections. I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Later.